First cut the 0 degree, bring all the hair from the front. Once I did all the 0, coming from the front all the way to the back, now I'm going to layer her hair. I'm going to establish another guideline on the top. So I'm just going to put this up. So I'm going to ask my client, how much can I cut? Can I cut like this much? Yeah, so that's going to be as much as... At this moment I can just put it down and cut. So I got my guideline right here. So this is going to be guideline here, guideline here, guideline here, all around. I can divide this guideline. Now I'm going to go all the way down. This is the nape area. She has a lot of hair. But I'm not going to cut this bottom hair because she's curly. We've already cut the bottom hair. We did the 0. So this is the part that is at the nape area. It looks like a lot of hair, but if you go all the way down, you would cut a lot of hair that needs to be the bottom bulk of the hair. So I'm going to elevate this all up. There's my guideline, and I'm going to cut. Take a piece of guideline, go all the way down, and leave the area where the head changes. This is the bottom. This is where the head is changing, and I'm going to leave that part because I've cut the 0 already. And then elevate the hair. Here's my guide. I can even go like this and cut. Taking a long section and taking some of my guideline, leaving some of the bottom hair because we've cut it, and go up and cut. Taking some more, all the way up. There's my guideline, and I'm going to cut. Coming again, the pie sections. Now, this is behind the ear. I would leave some hair around the hairline, right here, and I would leave the hair behind the ear. We have already cut the 0 there, so I want to leave some hair around this area. If I cut the whole thing, there would be no bulk underneath, and because she's curly, she needs something laying down flat 0 underneath. Find your guideline. You can also... Here's my guideline, and I'm going to cut. Now I'm almost done with the back. Here's the area around the ear. I'm going to have a section coming from front diagonal back, but I'm leaving some hair around the ear, and I'm leaving some hair around the hairline. Got my diagonal back section. Going up, finding my guideline. If I cannot find my guideline, or I'm having a hard time, I can add more of the guideline hair, and I would immediately see my guideline. There it is, and then I'll cut. Now I'm going to check the entire back. We've already got the layers, but as you noticed, I have some in the bottom that I've left, and then I'm going to blend this later on, but I want that bulk underneath for me to blend, otherwise it would be too short or too thin. I would check the entire back by just taking the hair around, leaving the bottom hair, bringing everything up, At this point, I'm looking to see if anything's protruding. So I'm gonna cut that. So this is to check the back. Anything extra, I will cut. So we cut the entire back, we're gonna let it go, and we got the back layers already. For the front, I'm going to have the front layers go forward. And some people do not have a lot of hair in the front. She does, but some people don't. So I always leave this front. Sometimes their hairline doesn't have hair, and I cut this forward. I don't cut it up. And I go down. Here's the ear area. I leave the hair above the ear a little bit. Depends on the thickness of the hair. To see how the thickness is going or where to stop, you put your comb like this. When it separates, right there is where you stop your sectioning. And this was my 0 that I've cut. So I'm gonna get a section, diagonal back, and cut this piece together. Here's my guideline, and then I'm going to cut. Comb again and cut. Combine the guidelines. Now move, going diagonal back, leaving some hair in the bottom. Take some of the guideline. There's my guideline. Last piece. But again, I'm leaving this hair to be cut to the front, towards the front. And there's my guideline, and I'm going to cut. This I will cut last. To the other side, we've cut the back already. Here's the ear area. I am going to leave the bottom area, and I'm going to leave the very front area to be cut forward, and the bottom area would stay. So I'm going to start from the back, going to forward, and go up. Take a piece of my guideline. Elevate up to 180 degrees. You can see where my guide is, and this is the extra hair that we're going to cut. Take a piece, leave the bottom around the ear, elevate, find your guideline, that's the guideline, and cut. Last piece. Can't find my guideline. I will take some more from the top because my guideline's on the top. I cannot lose it. And it's a traveling guide, so it's everywhere. And then I'm gonna cut. Comb up. Once you hold it in place, you can go down and you can cut. So we got the sides done, and then we got the back done. So I've asked her where she wants her bangs to start, and she said just around the bottom. But I'm gonna go a little bit lower because her hair is curly, and I'm gonna combine them, and then I'm gonna cut. That would be my guideline for the front. When this dries, it's gonna go a little higher, and I divide it in the middle. Then I make a C shape. Get a C-shaped section, and I see it around, but I leave this area around the ear because I would cut it down. Bring it forward. Here's my guideline. Once the guideline drops, that's my guideline, I'm going to slither, and I'm going to slither down. When I slither, I do not close the scissors completely. So this is the layer I've cut, and this is the layer that I have not cut yet. Now I can get that bottom hair to the front and then bring it forward all the way down, and then I would slither that down, but not elevate it to the bottom because I don't want to lose the bottom curl. And then bring the rest of the hair from the side. I have this entire hair, and then once my guideline, that's the traveling guide, goes down, I very slightly cut to match the layer in the front. So that's the layer in the front, and this is non-cut layer. We can see our layer. This is the layer that I've cut. This is my guide. That's the guide. And I'm going to make a C shape. How do I determine where to cut? Once I put this comb in here, and this is where the comb separates. When the comb separates right here from the head is where you divide from the bangs. Everybody has different head shape. So hers is separating right here, and that's when I'm dividing for the front layers. And that's my C shaping. So my C shaping coming forward. But again, I leave this hair right there above the ear, and that hair I'm going to cut all the way going down. That hair I'm going to cut in the bottom almost 0 to 45, not as 90-ish that I'm doing this part. Okay. Here's my guide, and then I'm going to slither. I'm not going to close completely my scissors. I'm going to go like this. So I'm just going to slither down all the way down, and we got the layer. But then the bottom part I'm going to bring, this is the ear bottom part, all the way down, because I want to keep some of this hair. If I don't keep some of this hair, it'll be gone. And I cut very little going to the bottom. So it does layer, but it's not as drastic as this one. And then bring some hair from the back and layer. I'm gonna check. So I bring the bottoms and I check them. If they're equal, if there's a little piece hanging, then I could cut that. So I check all the hair going forward. This is all the way bottom. But the last thing I'm going to do is match the top with the very bottom that I have left off. To match the top to the bottom, we have to take a section all the way from the top to the bottom, comb it, keep very little in the bottom, almost nothing, and then put your hand, turn, 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 go all the way up and cut whatever is there from this guideline to that guideline. Take a piece, the entire back, leave very little in the bottom, and then turn the hair all the way up. Now you got this guideline and you got this guideline, and this triangle is being cut. The guideline's inside, and then I'm cutting. Again, I'm going to take from the very top, going all the way diagonal back.
I'm like, is it too hot?
For curly hair, you don't even have to bother to cut a lot. Straight hair is the one that shows the separation. So this is my guideline. Here my guideline is disappearing into my hand, and then the other guideline is right here. And then I cut this triangle. What it does is just combines everything together from the top to the bottom. Take a piece, diagonal back from the top to all the way to the bottom. This is already behind the ear. Here's the ear. I leave this part, I leave this part. And then I'm going to match all the way up. And then I got this guideline and the other guidelines inside already. And then I cut. What it does, it brings everything together. Connects everything together from the top to the bottom. The sides are less hair. So I only take the top, going all the way to the back. Diagonal back. And put your fingers and turn. And now I got this guideline and the guideline in the bottom. And then I'm going to combine them. Here's her front hair. I just take some from the front, going all the way diagonal back. And then I'm going to check a chunk of hair from here. I'm going to put my fingers in, turn and turn and turn and turn and turn until I reach the bottom layer, which is right there. And then the top layer, which is right there. And then cut the triangle. And that will ensure that I have that nice connection from the top to the bottom. Here's the layered haircut. Do you like your haircut?
Yeah.